Yeah, yesterday when I was doing some considering job.
So you're at the right place at the right time.
Kind of, occasionally I get fixed up, although I'm not sure that's a good thing, but anyways.
You got the shirt and semi-automatic. It was pretty nice.
Somebody on the Mac, I can sell on eBay.
Yeah,
It's illegal or something.
maybe not. Depends on where they got the gun.
Yeah, exactly. I could have watched that. It was in the dark. By golly, it's 10:30. I believe it's time to start. Gentlemen, call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Let the minutes reflect, we're all three here in person. There appears to be nobody, suppose that better. We have no one online other than us right here, so we're all in person today. So let's start with the approval of the minutes from the August 6th meeting that were presented in your packet.
I didn't see anything. So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
All right.
Second.
Good. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Hi, Scott. How are you? Good. All right. Let's move on to oral and written communication. The adjustments for this would be wastewater payment office, but these are stormwater adjustments, I believe, that we have asked to be presented before the council. No action necessary, but just for your information, again, these are typically leaks that have distorted the actual stormwater usage. So by correcting those, we've, I think, made folks happy that they're only getting charged for what they're actually utilizing within the stormwater system, despite their water bills sometimes being distorted from a leak or other problem. Any questions on those?
I don't have any questions.
No action needed?
No action needed. And again, this was something that we decided we wanted to do to keep these public, and I'm really happy the way this plays out.
It's good to review.
So, all right. Thank you. No unfinished business. So let's move into new business. Item 1 is to open bids for the Kelly Park Pond improvements. Lynn, do we have any bids?
We have 2 bids.
2 bids.
The first one is going to be from G&G Hauling and Escalade Inc.
All right. Thank you. So in accordance with the plans and specifications prepared, this bid is for the amount of $589,143.67. That's $589,143.67. And that's G&G Hauling and Excavating.
The next one is from HRP Construction Inc.
Okay. All right. That's the bond.
Thank you.
Is it one of those open bids?
Well, there's a number here, but I want to make sure it's the proper number because it says addendum on it, and I don't. This is just, let's go back to the beginning. See attached. There's a lot attached here. All right, I've got a number here. Is there someone here from HRP? Yes. Could you come up? I just want to show you this to make sure I'm reading the proper amount. All right, thank you. So the bid from HRP is $790,049.63. 790,049.63. James, I'd ask, do you prefer that we delay this so you can take a look at these before we award? And you want to do that now? Or do you want to?
Prepared to award
At the next meeting? Okay.
Any motion you need, is it formal motion to accept them as presented, or?
Take them under advisement.
Take them under
So
advisement.
moved.
Okay,
I'll second
all
that.
right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So for those of you that took time to come today, those bids will be reviewed and they will be awarded at our next meeting, which will be
September 3rd.
September 3rd at 10:30. All right? Thank you. Do you guys pass that other one back to?
Yeah.
There you go. All right, thank you. All right, item number 2 is a street closure request for the Cubmobile race. Is Eric here? Eric Davies? Anybody here representing the Cubmobile race? Well, I know we've done this in the past, and we'll be using the same stretch of Indiana Street, be closing the East Main and East Fort Wayne intersections on Indiana on September 18th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The road will reopen. Actually, the road will be closed from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. to accommodate the race. Doesn't appear to be any changes from previous closure requests for that event. Any questions? Chief, either chief, both chiefs, any concerns with those closures? Okay. All right.
I move to accept.
I'll second that.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. We've got another request for a street closure. This would be, I'm having a little trouble reading this. East Clark between North Lincoln and North Lindbergh on Saturday, October 9th. Road would be closed from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a neighborhood block party. I know this neighborhood has done this before, and I'm certainly encouraging these types of gatherings. I think this is a great thing. Again, are there any questions?
I move to accept.
Second?
Again, gentlemen, any problems with that? Just, yeah, East Clark between North Lincoln and North Lindbergh. Okay. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Another request, closure request for the neighbors at Park Ridge. This would be a September 25th event. The road would be closed from approximately 2:30 to 9 p.m. This would be a small section of Laurelwood Drive. I believe this is the same. Is there anyone here from that neighborhood? Doesn't appear to be.
They've done this before.
The same area, same section.
Area.
Yeah.
It's kind of that, it's into a cul-de-sac area. Again, got our police and fire here, everybody good?
I'll move to approve that.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Got a wage update, new hire report. Jennifer?
Yes, we do. We have just standard shifting around, just some increases for job development evaluations. We do have 2 co-op students that are going to be coming on board with an agreement with the school at the fire department. Potentially have a couple more coming on board at different departments, but I'll bring those as well, once we get the approval. And then we have a rehire at the street department.
All right.
I don't have anybody on the street department on my list.
That was re-uploaded a couple days ago.
I didn't get any report.
Keenan Yates?
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, Keenan worked for us before at the street department, and we're returning,
Rehire.
rehire.
I'll move to to accept these as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Travel requests?
Sure, we have a couple going to the Ames Idea Summit through cities and towns. Richie Bunch looks like that he didn't get his in on time with the group from last Board of Works to go to the conference in Fort Wayne, and just a couple from the fire department. One of them's Homeland Security for Aaron,
And I will be attending the AIM Idea Summit as well. I don't know if my travel request is covered under a blanket for my role as AIM president, or if I need to submit, but I'll have time to submit that if that's required.
or can I add it just because it's the same agenda, it's the same time, I believe, that
Yeah.
elected clerk treasurer Christensen is, so.
Right. And from an expense standpoint, as president of AIM, I have no expenses other than my use of city vehicle to get down to the conference and back.
You are correct.
So there's no registration or hotel expenses for me.
So acknowledgement to be out of the city
Right.
for a day.
So I would add that, and if you're not comfortable, I can resubmit that at a separate meeting.
I move to add the mayor's verbal request as well as all of the others as presented.
Okay,
And I'll second that.
okay,
Very good, thank you.
all right.
Thank you, Jeff.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. Stacy, you're going to present a website redesign proposal from the mayor's office?
Yes, I'm just asking for your approval of accepting this quote for a redesign of our website with Civic Plus, who is our current provider. The best practice is to do it every 3 to 5 years. We're trying to stick with the 5-year schedule. 3 years is more if you're a competitive company in the private market. 5 years is kind of what we're aiming for. So we've been on that schedule for the last couple of redesigns. Keeping the meat and potatoes of the website the same, just adding new tools, new navigation, giving it a fresh look to encourage people to continue using it.
And I would add that this has been a critical part of our communications tools, the ability to have that tool for our citizens to come to and view our meetings and all the other department links and ability to ask a request. There's so many things that does. Stacy's done a great job. I know our metrics are through the roof with this thing. It's utilized quite a bit. We learned many, many years ago that this is probably one of the most critical tools we have to get the message out. In addition to our social media, which isn't really reflected here, but our social media that we have, as well as our website, so.
I
But
need
most
to-
of our social media pushes to the website. So social media is intended for snippets of information, and a lot of times we have more than a snippet we need to convey. So we're sending them, directing them to our website when they click the link, when they click the post.
I need to publicly thank Stacy and those involved with this, but especially her. I mean, this past weekend, I emailed an attachment bombed her, the Deer Task Force, and all of the online training, mayor, everything that we do. You talk communicating with the public, our archers, the whole 9 yards, and she has it up and running early that next week. So I want to thank you for that. And again, just another reminder, that's how we're doing business with the archers, tracking and information, the whole 9 yards. So
Very
very important tool, I think.
Yeah, and it's got to be easy so that when people go to it, they're not discouraged from navigating it. And I think that's really what we're dealing with here is to try and continue to improve the ease of the use of that tool. And again, I would consider it our central communications tool for our municipality without question. So I think the redesign is critical.
I move to accept the request.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Stace.
Thank you.
All right, Parks. Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good.
I have a contract here for Derek Tenney. This is for our Daddy Daughters Little Sweetheart Dance on October 1st and 2nd for $250. Derek has done this for us for many years, and he's very affordable. We have sign-up starting on September 7th, running through September 21st.
You don't imagine you'll get to September 21st, do you?
No, we do
Yeah.
not.
September 7th is when they start?
Yes.
Yes, be advised, that's day one, and they will go fast.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
questions on
No, I'll
on the
move to approve
contract?
that contract.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? How many of those do we do a year? Just the one?
Well, this year we are doing one in October
Right.
because of COVID, and then they will start back up in February,
So we'll do two, like us?
October and then February.
Okay, great.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. This next contract is a parking facility lease. This is with Phil and Maxine Harris for the lot on the west side of Buffalo Street, just north of the Z Hotel. Essentially, this is the city leases that, and then we go out and fill those spots. I did talk to representatives from Zimmer Biomet, and they certainly are still in need of those spaces for the Z Hotel. So I don't see really any change. The amount of the lease has remained the same. So I would ask that you consider approval of this parking lease.
I move to approve.
Second.
And again, this is a 2-year lease that, again, is set at $9,000 a year. All right, any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Next would be a planning, this is from Building and Plan. It's an invoice to KEDCO for their economic development revolving loan fund. Jeremy?
Yeah, I believe this came before you, may have been polled at the last meeting because I wasn't here, but the council approved a transfer of funds a month and a half ago for this contract, and basically it's for the housing program that we're putting together for the old Kroger or Owen site. We've approved the funds to be moved to professional services and edit, and this is the contract or paying those funds out to KEDCO to complete that work being done for the old Owen site. And the amount of $50,000 will come out of edit professional services.
So Jeremy, as you can, would you just explain how KEDCO is involved in the housing, in this fund, and their role in our housing initiatives?
Yeah, so KEDCO is kind of playing the land consolidator, more or less. They will be the entity consolidating the land and then issuing the contract for the services to go in and do our due diligence prior to closing on the property. So this contract is kind of all-inclusive. At the same time, we're using them to facilitate a development agreement with the potential developer of the site. So they're kind of acting as that quasi-governmental agency on our behalf to consolidate the land and to put the project together through the housing program that we've established as the coordinator of that.
And the real importance there is that they're also going to be involved in administering this loan fund that's been set up, this $4 million loan fund that was set up by Zimmer Biomet, IHCDA, the foundation, and Lilly. There's $4 million in there that can be used for not just the city, but the entire county to initiate projects, to do pre-development work, to do planning work, and to try and identify a developer that then eventually will replenish this fund as these properties are developed. But just like any economic development, we need to spend some dollars to get put together a deal, if you will, and to find the right developer to do what the city needs to do. And in this case, it's workforce housing. So we're using KEDCO as KEDCO is handling that fund, and they are somewhat centrally administrating that, which we will use maybe at some point when we purchase the property. That property, there's still just a few hang-ups, things that we anticipated that are just, we're trying to work through, and it'll hopefully within a few weeks we'll be ready to go on that Owens property. But in the meantime, we're putting together a group. We had a meeting this week to look at how we'd like to see that project develop on that property, who we're really going after as far as housing, which again I've mentioned, primarily workforce housing, and then the other possibilities in that project. So this will be a community-based decision, and this is all part of that process that this money is being used for. Anything else?
Pretty much sums it up.
I'll move to approve the KEDCO invoice payment.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. Jeremy, you want to tell us what's going on Market Street?
Well, hopefully, this is the final closeout invoice for the Market Street project. It's been done for a couple of years now. This was sent to me, I think, mid last month, and I reviewed it. We're going to go ahead and pay for this out of my former office budget, the Building Planning Department's budget. It's a 80/20. Our 20% is $1,061.16, and is from the invoice submitted by NDOT, the payment request. It says final payment for closing, so I'm assuming this is the final to close out that project.
It's the second final payment.
Yeah, it's the second
Yeah.
final payment.
It is NDOT. I suppose we ought to approve the payment.
Well, they do hold a couple of $1 million, well, more than that, about $4 million in projects we have underway, so I think we can
Probably a good idea,
suffer a
I'll move to
$1,000
approve.
payment.
Second.
Just a quick question. Do you think they just audited their records and found that this had not been paid, or was this a late work order or something?
No, I think, to be frank, I don't think our consultants did a very good job closing out the project. So it kind of lingered, and they weren't getting the paperwork into NDOT that they needed to get in. There were probably some change orders and quantity changes during that time frame that they hadn't got to NDOT. So at the end of the project, as NDOT's going through all this to make sure all their ducks in a row, they're probably finding these shortfalls that needed to be addressed. Should have been addressed a year and a half ago, but now they're cleaning it up and making sure that it's done and finished.
And is this our 20%?
Yes.
Okay,
What's that, yeah.
so they're still paying 80%.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Jeremy. Dustin?
This is very similar to what Chief Whitaker presented last meeting. This is just requesting permission to apply for the Ipip safety grant for 2022. It's again an 80% grant, 20% on the city's behalf. A couple years ago, we were able to purchase, our work boots and stuff like that, which was a huge morale booster for all our staff. So just some safety equipment, so just permission to apply for the grant.
Yeah, I appreciate you going after that. If that's available, I don't know why we wouldn't, correct?
I move to approve the request.
I'll second that.
All right, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Dustin, I came down this week and saw the new mobile lifts that are in the maintenance department. Huge safety improvement and actual time saver and quality piece of equipment for the maintenance department. He talked just a little bit about that.
Yeah, this was something that, Damien, our shop supervisor, Damien Pass, had wanted for several years, and it was just a kind of money crunch. Thankfully, I have some great department heads to work with. Brian and Chief Wilson pitched in. We bought these on thirds as a set of 6. It has the capability of lifting any vehicle the city has. I think it's a little over 118,000 pounds or something like that. It'll lift with these 6. So they link together. You only run one, as you have to run a key fob around. They re-energize as they go back down, so you don't have to charge them all the time. But we had a trash truck go down with the transmission. They were able to lift it up on there and take the transmission out. Just not dropping the transmission off on the floor. There's actual lifts go up to just lower this thing down. So it's going to be a huge tool for us. So it's great.
Yeah, Damien was telling me it cuts their work time sometimes by a half, just being able to get those trucks up in the proper position so they can work on them. And they lock in when those things get up. There's 6 lifts I think they can use total. Like on a fire truck, they need all 6
Right.
to lift
Yeah,
the fire
there's-
truck, but they can do that. And then when they get up, they're locked in so they can't slip,
can't
if you
fall.
will.
It's
And,
got a safety device that it sits down on an actual lock, so that it's impossible for it to collapse and drop something on somebody. So
And being mobile, they can work outside if they've got a real tall truck to work on. And so I just appreciate you all being able to give that resource to the maintenance department. They're thrilled with it, and rightfully so. So thank you very
Yeah.
much.
and thank you guys.
All right. Brian? This is just a software agreement with Boyce.
It's their billing software license.
Okay. Any comments? Same amount as last year?
A little bit higher.
Questions?
I'll move to approve that.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? I just wanted to also mention, I had a chance to go out to the wastewater treatment plant yesterday and really take a good look at the new facility. And before we went out and looked, Brian shared with me some of the savings that they've been seeing on their utility bills, their electric bills. And, we're saving a significant amount, as we anticipated. But I think if you remember when we were discussing the design, the efficiency of this design, we're paying a significant amount less. Saving about half, maybe not quite that much, but a really significant amount. And that's going from the old plant to the new plant. We're actually paying less in total.
Yeah, we're saving probably a third of our electric cost that
Third.
we were paying compared to what we are paying, so it's significant. When we were spending probably 300,000 kilowatts a month, and now we're down under 200,000 kilowatts a month, so it's a huge savings with
It's
the amount
amazing.
of electricity we use.
And it wasn't just a speech yesterday. He showed me the bill. So it's right there. And that's not it, because once they get a cogenerator in there that captures the methane, that's a byproduct of the process, That methane will be used to heat in the digester tanks. See, I was listening yesterday. Again, another significant savings that we won't have to use. We can use self-generated energy to heat those digester tanks, and that's another significant savings. So that'll be in addition to what we're already saving now. Remember all those discussions when we talked about that, and it's just good to see it actually, it's working in dollars and cents, and really proud of what Brian and Wessler did to get that going, and then getting that built was really fantastic. So, all right, James, are you back with a recommendation on the bids for the Kelly Park pond improvements? Oh, that's right. That's right. It wasn't the end. We're going to the next meeting. Got it. I saw you sitting back there, and I know sometimes we do that with our vehicles, but we'll wait till the next meeting. All right. Sorry, James. I woke you up, didn't I?
You woke everybody up with that one, Joe.
All right. What do we got left? Special claims, there appears to be one.
Yep, it's for a billing out of edit that was handed in. If we had the docket all printed off, so it's to American Structure Code, $46,000.
Okay. Questions? Just have to do with the rust removal, the addition of that filter.
American
Structure point.
It's by Anchorage Road or something, isn't it?
46,000,
Out of edit.
Anchorage Road, okay. All right,
I'll move to approve.
Second.
further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And then the regular claims docket?
I didn't see anything. Did you see anything? Further, so. You okay with the?
Yeah.
claims docket? I'll move to approve the claims docket.
Second.
All right, any questions, further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, any other items to be carried forward? Chief?
So the American Legion's come to Chief Whitaker and I in reference to, there's a new flag that during the month of September, it's called the We'll Never Forget flag. And I don't know if you've seen any of the advertisements or any of the news articles on it. We have them at the fire station. And what the commander of American Legion post here in Warsaw is asking is that we, for the month of September, that for those, the fire, police, and first responders and the service members, that the flag be flowing with the American flag. It's professionally done, and I guess I'm coming to you to give you the, ask for permission to fly that in place of the Indiana flag. We've added, the fire station added 2 years ago, a location on our flag, under the American flag, to fly the Indiana flag. And we've been flying it off and on with our American flag on our apparatus. So I don't know if you want to discuss it and send something back to us, but September's coming up. We told them we would check with Board of Works and the mayor's office and see what their thoughts were.
Well, I think obviously in respect to the 20th anniversary of 9/11, it certainly makes sense. The only question or comment I've got is, I don't know that we would necessarily suggest that it be flown in place of the Indiana flag. It could be, but I think someone could also fly it separately and maintain the
And we've
Indiana
looked
flag.
at the height of our flagpole. I went out and looked at the height of our flagpole at Station 2, because all the fire stations and the police department only have a single pole. And it's brought up some discussion with Chief Whitaker and I about adding different poles to be able to do this at special occasions. Like, there's a law enforcement flag, there's a firefighter's flag, there's an emergency services flag, and every once in a while you'll get a request like this. So I kind of looked at the flagpole at Station 2. I think it's going, if we were to add 2 more connectors, it's going to be pretty low on the pole because of the height of the pole. Station 3's there, it probably would work. Not sure about the one downtown or with Chief's flag pole.
Do we have the capability of flying a second flag on this? I'm not sure
I
that we
do
do.
not believe we've got the connectors for the second flag, because we don't have the American or the Indiana flag on our pole here at City Hall either. So it'd be during the month of September.
I mean, I certainly don't see any problem with doing that. I think logistically, I think you're just going to have to go by what you have facility-wise. If you can add another pole, if you can add extra connectors, if you can even, like I say, add a separate pole and maybe put the Indiana flag on there while it's being flown. I think that, my opinion would be, it would be at the discretion of the facility that we actually have, of the infrastructure we have to fly the flag.
Correct.
And if we can add connectors to fly a second flag, and I don't know in the, whether it makes sense to fly a third or to add a second pole, even temporary. I think there's probably protocol for that thing that I'm not.
And there
familiar-
is, and.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, and getting another
That's what I was
flagpole
worried about.
established in location, like ours, all of ours are set in concrete. So
Right.
adding one offset of it shorter is what the protocol would be, couldn't be done right away.
Right.
And we're looking at probably changing some stuff at the police department to be able to accommodate 3 poles. That's something that we talked about today.
I would just suggest that we follow the protocol. I don't want to make a decision on whose flag flies above or instead of whose flag.
Correct.
But I brought that up about the Indiana flag because it should be considered when you're looking at protocol
Yes.
and make that determination.
And
Yeah,
it's an option in protocols, it's an option bill. If you fly a state flag underneath the American flag, it's going to be flowing at a lower level than the American flag. That's why a lot of times you'll see it as a second flag underneath the American flag.
I would think the Legion might have a
And
recommendation.
they do, and that was the recommendation. When he came and visited with me, and the commander did come and sit down with me, and we discussed this, I said that the protocol would be to be able to fly it in lieu of the state flag underneath the American flag.
And again, at their suggestion, and I would also check protocol,
Yep.
I'd be fine with flying that flag, but I'm just speaking for myself. I don't know how you guys feel.
I'm in agreement with you. Yeah. Protocol followed and.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
Is there a motion and a second on that?
Yes.
Who made the motion?
Somebody.
Jeff, the mayor. Yeah, no, I seconded it, then we voted.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, thanks.
Notice you're double fisted now.
Double fisted today.
Double fisted on the